Welcome back, traders. What a wild day it was yesterday with the FOMC meeting. Jerome Powell outright saying that it doesn't look like we're going to get a rate cut in March. Now, that still could occur if we look at the CME Fed Watch tool. These numbers have gone significantly down. It was about a coin flip before the meeting. Now it's looking like only a 37% chance that we get a rate cut in March, and it is much, much more likely that we will get that rate cut in May instead. That is, unless the economic data comes in exactly the way the Fed wants to see it. So that's something to keep an eye on. When this rate cut occurs, I do believe we will get a short-term rally before we start seeing potentially some drops from it due to whatever. All right. How did Bitcoin react to that? You can see here on the 30-minute chart. This is the time right here when the Fed announcement came out and then Jerome Powell started speaking right here. We got that tiny little bump up and then it was just all downhill from there. If we look at the daily chart, this actually kind of looks bullish. If you look at the daily chart, we did this, it's looking like a head and shoulders, an inverse head and shoulders, but a head and shoulders. We got a shoulder here, head here, and we're forming a shoulder here. If we start going back up now, I'm expecting to come up to the top, make an explosive move up into this region here, up into the $45,000, $46,000 area. If we get that move up above this neckline here, right there. So we get above that, we're looking at going to the top of the range here. So that'd be pretty great. That'd be pretty exciting for Bitcoin and the miners as well. So it's actually kind of creating a bullish formation on the daily chart. Let's take a look at Mara yesterday. So before, actually, I think that was on the hour chart. So I was looking at a head and shoulders on the Mara hourly chart. I was looking at this head and shoulders right here. And then the Fed came in, completely undid that. I was thinking it was validated when I got this candle down here that broke down, came down. Maybe that was the whole move. I don't know. The Fed came in, completely undid that with this big move here. We went nearly $3 up, followed by a nearly $3 dump right after. However, for the short term, we are forming a really nice little handle here. See this handle that I drew here a few days ago or whenever it was? Would have been Monday this week, maybe over the weekend. I can't remember exactly, but I drew this nice little handle here. And we are following that handle quite nicely. And it looks like we're going to continue to follow that handle until we break out of this channel. Then I think we're back in this upward channel here and moving on up into the mid 20s again from there. And then I saw something even more exciting when I was looking at the bigger charts, zooming out more. On the 2-week chart, I saw something exceptionally exciting. All right, let's get in here. Let me hide the drawings for a second. What do we see here? That is super, super exciting. Well, one, we are on support. This is looking like a really, really big inverse head and shoulders. Let me get you can see on my shoulder, head, shoulder. This is the neckline, which is where we are right now. So we went past it and we're back testing it. And then once we take off and we pass this $31 mark, it's going to be quite exciting. So that's really cool. But the other thing I'm looking at on the 2-week chart is, let me get rid of this little gap right here. This little gap right here from $15 down to $13.75. Now, this could have been the bottom right here. You see this nice big wick on the bottom of this red candle here with a tiny little body on top? This might have been the bottom. 1462, that may have been the bottom. It's very possible it could have been. I'm not entirely convinced that it was. I do think that in February, we might see a dip down. It might not stay there for very long. It might just be a few days or even a few hours, possibly even just a few minutes, honestly. But I do think that we close this gap. I think 1375 might be the bottom on Mara. And I'm going to mark that on my chart here. I'm going to mark that with a real big green line. I'm going to lock that down. All right. That one, I'll leave it there for now. It doesn't matter. I think this big green line here, is there already a line there? I already drew a line there, right? I'm gonna make it green. 4, lock it down. I think that might be the absolute bottom of Mara at this cycle. Keep an eye out for that. So once it hits that, I think it's going to stay there very shortly and then take off from there. Then I looked at CleanSpark in the same way. Well, one, look at CleanSpark also making a really nice handle in this descending channel. That's really just like textbook handle. That's really beautiful. I like that a lot. Um, so that looks fantastic. CleanSpark though, on the 2-week chart, so this is a 2-week chart again, each candle represents 2 weeks of price action. What are we seeing on that? Let me get rid of this. What are we seeing on that? See how we have this little gap here? And this is going to be a recurring theme on the miners. We went past that gap. We filled that gap. There's no other inefficiencies on the 2-week chart below this for it to fill in before going higher. I think 645 might have been the bottom on CleanSpark. This is a really bullish candle right here, and you can see after it, we went up quite a bit, up from what, where did this end? 8 all the way up to 9 something on a, under $10 stock. That's a very big move. But, I'm moving a lot. We see this nice big cup right here. We came almost to the top of it. We got real close. This big cup right here. We're making a handle here in this area. I think 645 was the bottom. I think it might have happened on CleanSpark. Now, I could be wrong. Could go further down, but I do think that that might have been a bottom on CleanSpark. And I'm very excited about that. Honestly, that prompted me to buy a little bit more CleanSpark, anything under under $9, to revise my thoughts of CleanSpark to purchasing under $9, dollar cost averaging into my position that I want on that under $9 on CleanSpark. Because I don't know if it's going to get back down to these levels. On the lower time frames, like the daily, doesn't look like it's going to. That's forming a really nice, this is now the daily. It's forming another nice little cup and handle right here. Nice little cup and handle on the daily. Maybe we may flash down to the 737 for a very short period of time to fill this gap, maybe, before conquering this high here at 925 and then rocketing up here into the teens again. That's very bullish. If we grind down even further into the 2 hours, right? It's going to be the same formation. Look at how the handle's forming. It's very nice. I think we might get a wick down to 733, maybe. But I don't see us returning back to these lows down here, below this 640 level. I don't think that's going to happen. There are bullish formations on the smaller time frames and bullish formations on the higher time frames on CleanSpark. So again, this is not financial advice nor a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. I'm not a financial advisor, and I cannot tell you what to do, and I don't presume that I don't even want to tell you what to do. But when I look at this chart, I see a bottom on CleanSpark, and I'm very excited about that. So let's take a look at Bitfarms as well. Let's see if that one has one going for it too. Again, 2 hours. It's got a very nice handle forming, just like I said last week. Let's go to the 2 weeks out. Let's take a look. We're in this nice upward ascending line here. We have an ugly head and shoulders that is also kind of forming a big old cup here. We are forming what looks like a handle going down here. Bitfarms has a little inefficiency here between 228 and 166. I think we could come down. I think that might end up being the bottom. Now, this could have been the bottom here at 190. That's very possible. I think we might be able to grind down to this 170-ish area, though, before going up. So this is close to a bottom. This is very close to a bottom. Mara's a little bit further from a bottom. It's trading at 1820, and there could be a bottom at 1376, which would coincide with the bottom of this ascending channel here. Same thing could happen to Bitfarms. This could come all the way down to 130 perhaps. But this formation is telling me that it's probably going to maybe get to 170, 168 at some point, and then turn right around from there. And that's what I'm looking at there. That's, again, very exciting. Very exciting formations happening on these. I think we might be on some of them. I think we've hit a bottom. On others, I think we're very, very close. Let's look at Bit Digital. Bit Digital is a weird one. Um, it's a little different. Bit Digital's got this like big cup going on, which it got invalidated and broke down here, and then it got another one going on here, which we invalidated by coming all the way down here. This one's weird. Um, Honestly, I don't know if this is a bottom or if we have further to fall. Maybe we'll come down here double bottom at like not the 60 cent range. That'd be crazy. Maybe down here at the 190 range, perhaps. We did get some pretty big tweezers here on the 2 week chart below off top just 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. No, no, in December. Yeah, yeah, December, about 5 weeks ago. We are at the bottom of this ascending channel though, and it has been respecting that with these cups that it's forming. It might form another cup going up here perhaps, going into like July. Oh, that would coincide with July, wouldn't it? All right, yeah. Just kind of like another form about July. That looks about right, honestly, in terms of being the same size as this previous one back here, going right into that seasonality because we had June, July top down, December top come down, and when was this? October, October. We won't get into October. When was the low back here? No, we just went up since February. Yeah, February was the previous bottom. So February, it'd be like now, and then it going into July, kind of coming up. So that'd be cool. This might be a bottom as well. This is a very different chart from the others, to be honest. This one's harder to read. I do think we're probably going to keep forming like these little U's on the way up, these cups, just kind of going up and up and up at some point, creating a different type of formation. But BTBT looks a little bit different than the others, and it's harder to read and understand what's going on. But it is in an ascending channel since December 2019. Let's take a look at HUT. I haven't looked at HUT. Let's see what they're doing what it's doing on the 2 week time frame. It is looking a bit weaker. This actually looks bad. It's very similar to Bit Digital. It is technically in an upward ascending form here. Not right there. Let's go to there. Yeah, let's go to this one. It is there. It's much more tapered to the downside than the others. So that's, I don't know, it's at a bottom right now. I don't know if it doesn't turn around, we could see ourselves revisiting this bottom here at $4, under $4, or even all the way down here at $2, perhaps. That is in the cards here. This does not look bullish compared to its peers. So I'm going to stay away from HUT for now. Let's see what Cypher's doing. I'm not invested in Cypher, nor am I interested in it for now, for previously stated reasons. It also doesn't look very bullish. It kind of went up. Ooh, no, this is bad. On the 2 week, this is bad. So it came out of its upward ascending channel, and now we're below it, and now we're in this descending channel on the 2 week. That is pretty bearish. I don't like that. I do think it'll probably come up with the other miners, but I hate this chart. Honestly, I hate this chart. This looks bad. I don't like this at all. No thanks. I'll be staying away from that. Let's look at Riot. Let's see what Riot's doing. I never cover Riot. You can see it's been a while since I've been in here. I just have some levels that I've drawn on. This actually looks more like Bit Digital with this big cup followed by another cup, and we're finding a bottom here, trying to make another cup possibly. So the bullish ones so far, honestly, Mara's very bullish looking. Clean Spark is exceptionally bullish looking with this on this massive time frame, making this big old cup and handle. Bit Farms also very bullish looking, again with that big old cup and handle forming, and Bit Digital not nearly as bullish, but bullish, leaning bullish. So that's the update that I've got for you today in regards to the miners. There's a huge, huge cup and handle formation forming on the 2 week chart on several of our favorite Bitcoin miners. CleanSpark might have bottomed. Bitfarms very close to a bottom. Marathon Digital not as close to a bottom, but it is looking good for the future there. Not even that far in the future, probably this summer, to be honest. One more thing I want to talk about is the Fed balance sheet. So these are on risk assets, meaning they are highly sensitive to things like the Fed rates as well as Fed liquidity, their balance sheet. Now, this is the balance sheet starting from just before the pandemic. This is where the pandemic came in right here, and we went up several $trillion, and we came up here. You'll recognize, now I'm going to zoom in and go back to last March. This little bump right here, this was the banking crisis of 2023, I think we may see some sort of a repeat of that coming this year since the Fed is ending its bank stop that it set up with this big increase on their balance sheet last March. That is ending this March, on March 11th to be exact. We are already seeing banks fail again. There was a New York credit, some, some sort of bank in New York, can't remember which one it was. It went down 50% yesterday. People were losing it, saying it was going to be insolvent, and maybe it will be. So I don't know, but banks are showing strong weakness again, which is not good, meaning that one thing it's good about is meaning that the Fed might inject again, like it did back here last March, which sent us into a mega rally for a while there in 2023. Sent us in a big old rally in 2023. Might do it again in 2024. It is an election year. There is a banking crisis on the horizon again. You can see here that we have kind of bottomed out on the Fed balance sheet here. We are ever so slightly ticking up, which is good for us owning these on risk assets but if they decide that they need to shred money, that's going to be bad for us. Less money in the system means less money to go to these risky assets, such as the Bitcoin miners and Bitcoin itself. So keep that in mind, something to watch, something to think about, and perhaps some of that weakness could be what drags Marathon down to this gap at 1372. Honestly, anything under $15, I'm picking up on Marathon and just dollar cost averaging all the way down and then back up again to around 1820 before I just watch it ride from there. And like I've said before, this is not financial advice nor a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. It is simply what I will be doing with my portfolio when the time comes. And with that said, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a profitable day.